Afternoon, Carl. Thanks very much for joining us. Look, the atmosphere in Las Vegas, already electric. We've heard all about ticket prices and hotel room prices. Just a year ago, though, you were going through something similar against George Groves. What's it like for the fighters? What's going through their head at this point of fight week?
I think because they're both so professional in what they've done, they've been here time and time again. Obviously not fight of the, you know, it's a fight once in a lifetime fight of the century, not decade, but they're consummate professionals. They know what it takes. They've just got to keep their mind right and keep focused. So they'll just be concentrating on their game plan and trying to relax as much as possible. I think it'll be the last hour before the fight, before the ring entrance. There's a saying I like to use, cometh the hour, cometh the man. And that is when you can either bottle it or get up for it. And I think both of these fighters are really going to come into their own and you know, leave it all in the ring and perform out of the skin because they have to. OK, now, the final news conference is tomorrow, Carl. Then it's the weigh-in on Friday. Is it possible to learn much about how confident the fighters are at that point, the way they look at each other, the way they shape up? Sometimes you can read a bit into it, but it doesn't really, from a fighter's point of view, it doesn't give you a great deal. I know people trying to analyse it and look into it too much, steering them out, looking in their eyes, who looks away first, all that kind of carry on. But like I said before, these two fighters have got that much experience at top level. There's not going to be much to be given away from it. I don't know if Manny Pacquiao or Floyd Mayweather are the kind of person, I mean, Mayweather probably the kind of person to try and upset the game and upset the game plan and try and get inside Manny Pacquiao's head. So if there's any shenanigans going off, I think it'll be from Mayweather's camp rather than Pacquiao's camp. But it's certainly going to be really, really interesting to sit and watch the weigh-in and just see if anything does unfold and see what you can draw from it. But it just all builds to the excitement of fight night, which I'm absolutely looking forward to, like a kid in a sweet shop.
Shenanigans in the build-up to a boxing fight. I don't know what you're talking about, Carl. Don't know what you're talking about, but let's get to the fight night now. The last time you walked to the ring, 80,000 people, 80,000 pairs of eyes on you. Far more than there will be in Las Vegas for the super fight. But what are those final moments like when you hear the crowd roar and just before the bell?
You know, you're in the zone, you're tunnel visioned and you're concentrating, but it's hard to not take in what's going on around you. I know Wembley Stadium was 80,000 and this is the MGM. I think it holds 16 or 17,000, but I think the intensity and the roar of the crowd really is going to play a big part in how these fighters perform and operate. But it's just about, if you're talking about getting nervous or getting a little bit tetchy or sort of switching off, you know, now's the time you don't want to switch off. So I think both fighters know what they've got to do and they're going to really, really concentrate and focus and try and block out the crowd and just remain tunnel visioned to get the job done.
Lots has been made, Carl, about the styles of these two fighters, which is why it's so anticipated. Much made of Mayweather's defence and the fact that he's never been put down on the canvas. What do you think the chances of Pacquiao putting him down are? And if he did, how would that affect Mayweather?
I think if he gets put down for the first time in a career, it's going to affect him massively in a negative way. But he's good enough to get behind his shoulder, get into his defensive slipstream, if you like, and just be effective behind the jab and keep himself safe. So if he does get put down early, I think he'll recover from it and then he'll see the fight through to the finish line. I think he'll be okay. And vice versa, I think if Manny Pacquiao gets put over, I know he got absolutely wiped out, knocked out quite bad, similar to George Groves getting KO'd at Wembley Stadium. Thought I'd slip that in when Marquez done him. And he's going to be going into the fight now knowing that he can get knocked out. So it may affect him a little bit of a negative way, but you know, Mayweather's not known for putting people away with one punch, so I don't think he'll be too concerned about getting knocked out himself, Pacquiao. I think he'll just be concentrating on doing what he needs to do. And for Pacquiao to win, he needs to back Mayweather up. He needs to be educated pressure, but he needs to work hard when he's got him. When Mayweather's on the ropes and he's slipping and sliding and ducking and diving behind his chin with his shoulder covering his chin, which he does so effectively, Pacquiao just needs to punch down at Mayweather's shoulder and his arms and just take what's there, just try and work him, because then round after round the judges will have to score for Manny Pacquiao and the fight could slip away from Mayweather if he's not careful. So the longer the fight goes on, he's going to be forced then to stand and have a fight. So we could be in for a really, really interesting fight. We really could. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, I think that's an understatement. So Pacquiao's speed, Mayweather's defence. If you had to put your neck on the line, who would you say is going to win?
I think the smart money is Mayweather on points. I think that's what everybody's going to be saying, but a lot of people are going to be hoping. I think there's a lot of emotional money gone on Pacquiao. A lot of people want Pacquiao to win. I don't know why so much. Maybe it's because he comes across as being very arrogant and very brash. He's very flippant with money as well, Mayweather. He calls himself the money man. But he's got the right to do that. He's earned it, you know, he's earned it himself. He parked up his promoter, I think, Bob Arum, back in 2007, and he fought Oscar De La Hoya on his own back. And that was a really big grossing fight, probably one of the biggest ever grossing fights when he fought Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya. But he did all that himself. So I've got nothing but admiration for Floyd Mayweather. And I always think the best man should win. But I know there's a lot of emotion back in Pacquiao. So there's going to be potentially a lot of upset people either way. Because if Mayweather loses, it's a massive upset. But everyone's behind Pacquiao. But like I said earlier, my money's on Mayweather to win on points.
Now, Carl, you did take the opportunity to slip in a mention of George Groves a little earlier. Almost a year ago, almost to the day since that fight, which leaves the question, where are you at the moment? You were hoping to fight Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in Las Vegas. He suffered a shock defeat 2 weeks ago, so what does that mean for you?
It was a year ago. It's gone very, very fast. It's unbelievable. It's almost like another lifetime ago. But having said that, I can still feel like the fight was yesterday, because people still stop me on the street and talk about the fight and how great it was and how much they enjoy it. It's just unbelievable. Chavez Jr., he got beat last weekend against Fonfara. I think that was too much of a step up for him. You know, stepping up to light heavyweight at this stage of his career from middleweight. And, you know, I'm not surprised he got caught with a shot. He got chin checked in round 8 and he didn't come out for round 9. So that's almost rubbish, that fight. It's sort of made that fight a non-entity now for me to fight him after such a bad loss. So it's difficult to say now where I'll go for me. I think the curtains are closing in on my career and something needs to happen fast if I am to fight again. OK, well, plenty of people would want to fight you. I mean, let's throw a few names out there. Who would you like to take on next? I think who I'd like to take on next is whoever would give me that Las Vegas, you know, fight night. But if I'm very, very honest, I'm so satisfied with the career I've had. You know, it's been an unbelievable journey. I've been a pro for over 12 years. I've got 3 of the major belts sat at home. I've got 2 WBC titles. I've also got an IBF and a WBA title. I've achieved so much in what's been a fantastic career. If it just so happens that, you know, the crest of the wave that is Wembley Stadium happens to be the last fight of my career, I've got absolutely no complaints whatsoever. I'm so satisfied with the career I've had and so happy. I've been so fortunate to have the career I've had, and to finish my career on Sky Sports Box Office, the home of boxing, where everybody was able to tune in and buy the fight like the kind of Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. I've got no complaints, I really haven't. If I don't fight again, I'm not going to be crying into my pillow. I'm just going to be smiling and disappearing into the sunset. OK, well, the only man you haven't beaten, Andre Ward, he returns to the ring after, well, a 17-month absence. He's going to fight a British fighter, Paul Smith. Ward, surely the favourite. If he wins, and I'm sure you'll expect him to, do you think he can then be tempted to England, to Nottingham, where you'd like to fight? I'm not sure. He had the opportunity to come to England and fight me in a rematch, and he said he'll come to England, but he's not coming to Nottingham. And, you know, I don't understand, because we could have filled Nottingham Forest. I don't think it's a Wembley fight, that fight. He thinks he's big enough, but he's not. He's boring, and he's not exciting to watch. Boxing's an entertainment business, and he doesn't make up the numbers. He just doesn't make sense in terms of the business side of the sport because of the way in which he fights. He's effective, he does what he does, he gets the win, but he's not boxed for 3 years or getting on for I don't know how long because of the way he fights. I know he's had a promotional dispute, but I've had a promotional dispute myself in my career, and I still boxed. You still fight, you sort it out after. So he's taken on Paul Smith. All the very best of luck to Paul Smith, with the best will in the world. Hopefully he can go out there and do the business. It's a tall order. It's a tough ask for Paul Smith to go out there and beat Andre Ward. But having said that, you know, Ward's not been in the ring for a long time, which I mentioned, and Smith's coming off, you know, 2 great fights with Abraham. The first one I thought he'd won. The second one, yeah, he lost fair and square, but he's got bags of experience, and he's got this new self-belief, this new ring-kindled flame that he can go out there and do the business. I'd love him to go out there and chin Ward. I'd love him to catch Ward on the chin and give him a hard night's work. You know, good luck to him, that's all I can say.
The time has arrived for the greatest fighters of this generation to meet. Mayweather v Pacquiao, May the 2nd on Sky Sports Box Office. To order now for $19.95, see Channel 491 or go to skysports.com/Maypac.